If we look at a letter, it just, this is a letter A, we know that. But the nice thing about this is it is 3D. And so look at these angles, right? There's some volume to this letter. We have a lot of letters and symbols that we look at every single day. And while these aren't three-dimensional, we can look at the letters sort of sideways like this, and we can get an idea of how we might try to draw these. So here is a regular A, right? That's a regular A. If I'm looking at my keyboard and I'm at a certain angle, I might see the A like that. Now, if I sort of make this into a bubble letter, like this. Now I've sort of, I've made my A a bubble letter, and I can erase this middle part like this. And now I have a bubble letter. Now, thinking about that metal three-dimensional A, if I draw lines down from each part, each corner of this letter, now I can make a line like that. I'm trying to make this line I'm about to draw, I want to make it parallel to this line, like this. Keep my pencil going, start up again like that. Wants to be parallel to this letter or to this line, like that. That's pretty cool, right? I really like this kind of way of making a bubble letter, and it's kind of fun to think about a letter on its side. So let's look at a couple more ways that we can play around with this. If making a bubble letter on its side is a little too weird, I want you to try something else. I'm going to use the hashtag symbol. I'm going to go like that. Now I'm going to take a marker, and I'm going to fatten up these lines. Maybe a little bit more. So that's one way to start it. Now we're not done. I'm going to use a light box, and I'm going to pretend it's a window. I've shown you in videos, and we've talked about it in lessons, ways to use your window in your house as a light box. But I'm gonna use a light box, and I'm gonna show you a really cool trick. Now this is my light box, and I'm putting the hashtag on its side like that, and now I'm putting another piece of paper over it. If you were at a window in your house, you could tape your first paper to the window, and then place another piece of paper on top of it, and it has the same effect. So what I'm doing right now is I'm sort of just going around the exterior contour of my marker line. And I'm kind of, I guess you could say I'm tracing it. So here is what it looks like. So now I'm going to do at each one of these corners, I'm just going to bring a lot of lines down. I can always erase. Already that looks pretty cool, right? Now, thinking about these lines as parallel, this is sort of like one continuous line. I want to make a line down here that's parallel to this line. Like that. And then parallel to this line. parallel to that. Continuing. Yeah. Oh, wait, I forgot that one. That's pretty cool, right? Now I can add value if I want to. And I'll explain these choices I'm making in a moment. So if I think about this section as being sort of one plane, I'm keeping this as highlights. Everything that's sort of facing this direction, I'm not adding value to. Everything along these sections, I'm placing value. I can do the same thing. So if this is an exclamation point, right? I'm going to lay that down. There it is laid down. And now I'm going to go like that and like that. So that's pretty cool, right? Now, I'm just going to do this. Sometimes it's easier just to watch how I'm doing it. It's hard for me to explain sometimes in just words. It's sometimes easier with pictures. Now this is all right. I like this sort of thing. I like the idea of giving volume to symbols that we see every day. I could sort of give it some sort of cool texture, like it's made out of, stone or something. That's kind of fun. I like that. Now I want to see what would happen. I like this idea of like, the end of this exclamation point. It sort of looks like a tree stump. I want to just kind of see what it would look like, if I did like a bunch of them, like a bunch of, periods or colons or something. Like, that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm just going to bring some lines down. It'll make sense why I start at the bottom, because when it hits this, this line has to stop. Same right there. Same right there. So now, again, starting at the bottom, and I guess I could kind of make these any height. It's sort of like this. If I were to make a box, like a square, that's just a flat square. To make it a box or a cube, I would have to kind of tilt this a little bit. Like that, right? Now, if I bring lines down, I got myself a box. I can't really do it here because that's all it would look like, and it just doesn't quite look like a box. I just kind of have to tilt it just a little bit. Here is another interesting way where you can just use one piece of paper. Here I've written HCS. Looks pretty cool, right? Well, watch this. What I did is I first folded it in half. I wrote HCS in marker. Then I flipped it up, put it against a window, boom. Let's see if I can do this with all letters. And I'm using HCS because it's, for our school, but I also like that I have, real straight up and down letters. And then I have some letters that are curved. So I did, the H seems like it could be fairly straightforward, right? I have to make a line that's parallel to this one right here. And in here, skip, there we go. Bring that up and then over like that. That's a great H. But a C is a little bit, you know, that's a little bit more, you know, it gets a little bit more complex when you have a curve. So I like to start with something like a straight line right here. By putting this here, I can establish where this starts. But now I have to sort of eyeball keeping a parallel line with a curve line. So I kind of go up like that, and then it starts to curve around. It's not exact, but, you know, it's pretty close. And you can see I'm sort of keeping like a lighter, more sketch style with my pencil. That seems like it's pretty cool. Same over here. I'm gonna go right here. Now I'm gonna carefully, with my eye, I'm looking at this line as I'm drawing this line. Kind of. That looks to be about right. That's pretty great. I like that. So I added some color to this with colored pencil, and I made the decision that this plane of the letters is a red pencil, this plane of the letters is yellow, and then this plane is blue. And I sort of had to make some decisions here with the curves. I just, you know, I put in blue a little bit and I kind of let it, I don't know if this is right, but you know, I just sort of like kind of tried to blend these colors a little bit. I think it looks pretty cool. I did this drawing in my sketchbook. I started out with the asterisk, right? I just tried to do just a straight view of an asterisk. Then I kind of bent it a little bit, and I have really light lines right there. And then I just made, you know, like a bubble letter out of that. Then I did a second one over here, or a third one over here, where I did the exact same thing here, but then I started to add the volume, trying to make it, you know, a little bit, give it some dimension. Then I added color. Now on this side, I did something fun where, you know, rather than just having it, you know, this sort of deep, I was like, well, what about if this is like, you know, really tall? And I think that's kind of fun too. So here it is in 4 steps. The plus sign as a bubble letter. The plus sign as a bubble letter sort of tilted on its side. The plus sign as a bubble letter tilted on its side with some dimension, some volume. Here are 2 pages from my sketchbook. I took a bunch of periods and I sort of put them on their side, on this side, and then I gave them some volume. Did the same thing on this side, but now I started adding some value. So it really feels like a bunch of cylinders. You know, it almost looks to me like the logs on the playground. I think there's something really fun. I can sort of imagine, you know, hopping up or down on these. Just as a recap, what we're doing is we're taking any letter or symbol on your keyboard, drawing it out, making a block or bubble letter to it, then tilting it on its side and giving it some dimension.